Hey, hit that subscribe button now. You're going to like it.
Welcome to the Luke Branquinho Show. Our next guest, Jada Trosper, WCRA Division Youth and Women's Rodeo World Championship qualifier. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me this morning.
So Jada, what are you doing outside of rodeo?
Well, I'm very active in my school. More specifically, I'm huge in our FFA program and I serve as our secretary. In addition, I'm also the president of our student council. Got to play sports to dedicate more time to my rodeo career as well as my family because I'm about to go off to college soon. And I have a great community and hometown behind me, so I'd love to give back to them.
What sports did you play when you did play sports?
So I was a varsity cheerleader and a varsity track and cross country athlete. However, going into high school with my increasing rodeo schedule, I decided to stop after my freshman year.
Jada, your involvement in FFA and the people skills you learned will just help enhance you in the sport of rodeo. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, there's so many opportunities in the FFA, and I compete in both LDEs and CDEs. And I was the only girl to make it to state all 4 years of high school and LDEs. There's so many opportunities in it, and it's so much fun, and you're surrounded by good people who all love the Western industry, and there's no better place on earth to be.
Jada, let's jump right into the WCRA. They have done a lot to help enhance your rodeo career.
They have done so much for me, not only as an athlete, but also as an individual. I have been blessed to be a part of this association for 3 years now, technically 4, including the 2023 season. And I've been able to experience some of the most incredible rodeos across the nation. I was able to go to Utah last summer, which was beautiful, and I have never rodeoed there, so that was also a bucket list item. But not only in the rodeo world are they amazing, but for all youth athletes, and they even have that Women's Rodeo World Championship. So for women, there's a huge cowgirl movement in rodeo, and it's so incredible to see, and they're amazing people, and they are genuinely here for us athletes, and also for our horses and the livestock that are involved in it.
Jada, the WCRA is definitely in it for the athletes. And what they're doing with the youth, how important is that for bringing up the young generation in rodeo?
It's a huge opportunity for the youth kids to ensure that this is the dream that they are chasing and that this is where they want to be. And just like you said, that pressure, if this is what you want to do and you know that your future stays here, then the WCRA introduces you to the pressure and with the big money on the line, and the crowd is just roaring and the whole community is there to watch. And so there's screaming children, there's cattle clashing everywhere. It's so much fun. And as a youth contender, we get to experience that and have that opportunity as a kid to go, okay. And so it puts us one step forward than what others are able to do. So no, it's really cool. And they treat us just like they do the professional athletes, which is even more special.
Jada, right now you're ranked 7th. Can you still nominate for the youth division?
Yes, you can. So about nomination, you want to be strategic on how you nominate. So going to your local jackpot that only has anywhere between 30 to 45, maybe 100 contestants, you're not going to receive as many points possible. So you want to be strategic in how you're going to use your money and your nominations and go to the bigger shows. And even if you don't win it, you will receive way more points. And that just helps get you one step closer without having to nominate every single thing you do. But if you're going for that leaderboard, you might as well just do it. And it guarantees you a spot in the final round, as well as the best stock and then the best ground that they can provide. So there are benefits, but they make it accessible and understanding. If you don't live somewhere that has a lot of opportunity, you can still play the game.
As a barrel racer, you don't want to put any extra miles on your horse. And with the WCRA, that's not the case at all to get qualified for these events.
Yes, sir, exactly. And I've also run into situations where the race or roping we were at wasn't listed on their nomination website, and they are the best. If you just call them before you run and tell them, hey, sorry, I didn't see it, I'm running tonight at yada yada, and you just send them the results page, they will take care of you. They are 100% here for you. We have the best front office ever. And it's just incredible because they care to see you succeed.
The WCRA is for all contestants. Jada, have you experienced that?
Yes, sir. No, you are 100% right there. And I've been able to experience that. And they were there for me the entire step of the way, and we got it figured out. And no, it's in a great association for sure.
In 2020, they had the Women's World Rodeo Championships at AT&T. How cool was that?
That was a dream come true, and I was able to accomplish that at the young age of 15 years old. That whole week, my mom and I actually just kind of hopped into it, a little blindsided because that was the year of COVID, so all the rodeos were shut down. So they actually opened that rodeo. So I went into that event as a challenger, meaning I had not won over $30,000, and I pretty much was a no-name. And I had to compete, I think 4 or 5 times throughout that week before I made it to the final round. And it was, I think, my 3rd run when I did join the pro pool. And from there, they took the top 6 to the AT&T. And I did it, and my mom was crying. There's a video of her out on the internet screaming during that entire run. And the whole WCRA team was right there behind me. And they were so supportive and encouraging, and anything I needed, they were there, because my mom and I had no clue what we were doing. And you know how dads are, they don't know either. They're just there for you. So that entire week was full of emotions. And then going to that morning practice in that stadium, I felt this just overwhelming amount of joy and emotion. And I was with a young horse. I had only owned him for about 6 months at that time, and he really wasn't seasoned. So that entire experience was new for both of us as a team, and it was so surreal. No regrets. The WCRA made my dreams come true, and that was just an incredible experience.
Join the WCRA for the next stop of the Triple Crown of Rodeo, May 10th through the 13th, 2023, for the Buccaneer Days Festival and Rodeo, Corpus Christi. The world's best rodeo athletes converge on American Bank Center on the beautiful Corpus Christi Bayfront and compete for their share of over $500,000 of rodeo payout and the $1 million Triple Crown of Rodeo. For more information, visit WCRARodeo.com.
How is it competing against women athletes that you've looked up to?
I was the only youth contestant there, and I was right with the pro girls who I have idolized since I was little and could have my little stick horse between my legs turning 3 barrels in front of the TV. No, that was so incredible, and I loved that they were there for me as well. So there was no superiority. They encouraged me, high-fived me, gave me hugs, congratulated me, asked me if there's anything I needed. They were there for me because they love to see the youth be able to get in that scenery, because before there really wasn't that opportunity. And no, those girls were amazing. And I will never forget Stephanie Fryer, after my first run, just ran and gave me a hug. I met her, no, I never met her. I had seen her on TV, but that was our first time to ever meet, and I didn't even shake her hand before. She just gave me a hug. So it's women like that that stand out, and they are amazing in the arena, but they're also amazing outside the arena. And Emily Beisel was there, and she was running like 2 or 3 horses, and the entire step of the way, she would tell me, "Good luck, go get them, kiddo. Like, I'm rooting for you." And so that was incredible to have such a strong support system from those professional athletes, and not being anyone who has that reputable name, but they were there for me, and they were so supportive. And that was just a really awesome week and a dream come true for sure.
That's one thing about the Western world and the rodeo world that I love, is everybody's rooting for you. If you could rodeo with one person, Jada, who would it be?
That is a tough one, because like you said, our industry is full of so many incredible people. I know that they are one phone call away, and because they are also on that pro circuit, I'm finally starting to almost reach the age where I get to travel everywhere. And so I know that I have them if I need anything, and likewise for them, because it really takes an army to do what we do and to travel across this nation and to support and hit all of those major rodeos, you have to have a team. And that's what's incredible, is because we are competing for a top 15 position, they are there no matter what. And at the end of the day, we don't race against each other. We race against the clock or the stock that's underneath us.
You at such a young age with that mindset, that means you're just going to go far in this business.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that, but I honestly developed that mindset after being able to learn from the professionals firsthand, because as a kid, in that stage of learning the sport and learning how to compete in the sport, there's not enough talk on the mental side of it. And so I learned from my parents and they groomed me, but it's different when you're being told something versus seeing it firsthand. And so through this experience with the WCRA, I've been in the back with the best in the world, and I get to see how they prep. I get to see how they train their minds and their mental game, and the 10 seconds before they nod their head and swing their rope, or the 5 seconds they're coming up the alley. How are they preparing? What are they thinking about? I've been able to better myself because I've seen it and I've learned from it, and I want to be the best. So I'm going to take those notes, and if I have any questions, they're there for me.
Do you go to a lot of open or amateur rodeos?
Yes, sir. So my schedule has kind of been a little slower this winter break. I did, 2 of my team members are currently injured, so I just have my one, and he does not deserve his wheels to be ran off. So I've been very selective on where we go to save him, because he gives me his heart every single run, and that's not fair. But coming up towards the end of this month, going into next month, I will wrap up my last year of high school rodeo. And we have regions. Our region finals are at the end of this month, and then we have our state, and then as well as a few big barrel races coming up. I did just finish the Patriot this past week, and that's been long, and then a slot race at Glen Rose. So we still are having fun and we're still active, but I'm also considering my teammate because his health is priority, and without him, I am nothing. I can't run.
Jada, how many horses do you have, and all the runs you make, how do you know which one you want to use in certain situations so you know you're not working them too hard?
You definitely need at least 3. It's very hard. You're gonna have rigs going different directions, and you might have to find a ride from a fellow athlete who's going on the West Coast, but you're gonna go on the East Coast. Then you're gonna have to take a plane and just fly over. So you need at least 3 members on your team. It would be better if you could have more, but that's also really hard to do. But you have to take consideration to your partner, because they will give you so much, and you are asking their all every time you come down the alley. So it is only fair for them to have relief, and you can strategize strategically. So my number 1, he loves big outdoor pins. So that is his call all the way. And then I have another one that's out, and he loves small, narrow pins. Loves them. And then my number 1 hates them. So I strategize when I'm going to use which one and how to go about it. But it definitely takes a team, both equine athletes as well as fellow human athletes.
So which one of those would you run at Rodeo Corpus Christi then?
Well, last year I ran my one that's currently hurt, Some Beach's Boss, and he loved it. Now, Sun and Sevens is my number 1. He's the one that likes those big outdoor pins.
Right.
And he likes Corpus, but he doesn't love it. Now, the prelims, he absolutely loves, because the barrels are in the middle of an arena and he gets to run. But the minute we go in that big coliseum, the walls are right on the barrels. And so for him, he safeties up. Now, the horse I ran last year, Boss, he loved it. I could promise you he was more there for the crowd than the mission, but he made it so much fun, and he really loved that pin. And I wish that I would have him this year, but I don't think he will be back in time. But Seven still loves it. It's just not his strength, but that's okay.
So Corpus, obviously a smaller pin, but it's indoors covered, as is where the championships are, which is July 25th through the 29th in Guthrie.
Seven loves Guthrie. He always has. And so I am very excited for that youth showcase with 200,000 added. Seven is out and he is ready to run, and it is indoor, but it's a big pattern. And so I'm going to have a lot of fun there, and he is going to love it.
Jada, is that a standard pattern?
I actually don't know that. It definitely has enough space to be a standard, but I have not looked at the dimensions to see what the WCRA is going to choose. But it will be a big pattern for sure. So we're excited.
Jada, I really appreciate you coming on the show and telling us about the WCRA Youth Rodeo. And I can see you're going to have a bright future in WCRA and any way you want to go.
Thank you, sir.